Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Optimal Health Program today. Thank you for following us online. Thank you for emails. Thank you for all the correspondence that we have. As I mentioned, sometimes it takes us a little bit of time to get your email answered because we get so many of them, but we love it. Thank you for all of the different platforms. Certainly LFA on Rumble, one of our favorite, our big Saturday program. As we were saying, last program we did, it was 122,000 views.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty amazing,
Let's go.
So extremely exciting. And I think this Saturday we're going to be on the front page of Rumble. So we're making some moves.
Ooh.
We're getting there. So hopefully be able to reach more people and to chat with more people. So that's what we love to do. You certainly can call in and ask your questions here. For most people now, they don't like the phone anymore. They like to just text or message us. But that's fine.
The line's open.
888-420-9272 if you'd like to talk with us. We'd love to hear from you. Today we're going to talk about a variety of things. How certain foods, 4 different types of foods, can boost your happiness and well-being in aging adults. And with that, we're also going to add on a couple of other tidbits, what they call a green Mediterranean diet. We'll also talk about aspirin may help to reduce the risk of colon cancer and colon cancer recurrence. And we'll talk about how comments have been made in the past about oatmeal helping to lower cholesterol and how I disagree with that. So, as we start, let's go to the foods that can give you happiness. And, I looked through this list over and over again. There's no pizza on this list, which I just don't believe. There's no pasta, no ice cream. So what foods can make you happy?
Well, now I don't. Yeah, I was excited for the show, but now I'm not.
Mental well-being, health conditions, anxiety, depression seem to decrease when people have certain components of foods in their diet. And it has to bear directly with the Mediterranean diet and the new idea of the green Mediterranean diet. Fruit and vegetable intake remain linked to well-being. Fish intake linked to happiness. Well, there are chemical reasons why you would get benefit. Obviously, the great oils from the fish, the fatty fish, salmon and such, are great for brain function. Fruits and vegetables, vitamins, minerals. So there are many reasons why this would make sense. Now, I would also talk about having great vitamin levels and great hormone levels, and good fats in your body also help your body to make hormones. So there's a combination of things that could point towards the benefits of these things in your diet. Of course, keeping carbohydrates out is an important part of the process because too much sugar raises your blood sugar. You'll temporarily feel good. You dump insulin, your blood sugar drops, and then you feel anxious, irritable, even panicking. And the sugar intake raises triglycerides, which are bad for your blood vessels and all your cells. You'll see cholesterol go up with carb intake because your body's not able to burn the fat, and the cholesterol is a primary fuel when you have too much carb in the way. And that's been, described by all the low-carb diets that are followed now. And, it used to be there was a doctor out in the Midwest talking about a high-carb, low-fat diet, but that's just since long gone because they don't think the results were really that significant. So the people who do the low-carb diet and have good natural sources of fats and oils, good proteins, put exercise on board, do the right things. And I'm saying this even without our big workup correcting vitamins, minerals, and hormones. People do much better with low carb and tightening, the types of food in. And the green Mediterranean comment on the diet, they like green tea, the green from olive oil, the green from vegetables. So it makes all the sense in the world. And they're talking about this concept decreasing the risk of type 2 diabetes, of heart disease. Good fats coming from nuts and walnuts, green tea, the polyphenols, the catechins, all very important for your diet. They compared on this study, and this was done in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition, The standard healthy diet, which who knows what the heck that is. The standard diet that people have followed here in the Western
Like the food pyramid?
realm, whichever word I could pronounce, is not a great diet. And you can compare that to everybody else in the world who doesn't have the disease and the issues that we have. A traditional calorie-restricted Mediterranean diet or a green Mediterranean diet. Researchers measured 87 different proteins, which is pretty cool, and looking at the protein fluctuations with different diets and seeing that you'd have better benefit with your brain by doing the green type Mediterranean diet. Specific proteins, galectin and decorin, which are two things that can be tested. They can create inflammation and affect and maybe accelerate brain aging, but this type of diet decreases that mechanism. And researchers at Harvard Medical School also chimed in on this, talking about the benefit of the green Mediterranean diet. So, as I would normally do, and as I always do, I would go beyond just a diet to tell you to follow, because it doesn't put into context your other specific deficiencies in vitamins, minerals, hormones, exercise, digestive, absorptive ability, allergies to foods and such. So the diet should be made to you, a personalized diet where we look at your blood test and cover all the ground, and then use that Mediterranean type green, low carb, get rid of all processed foods type of diet to give your body the best chance it has. So although the foods may be great, you really can't get terrific vitamin levels just from food. So that's why we test your vitamins, look at your blood test, make recommendations specifically for that, for you and your condition. If you have high cholesterol, we may use certain nutrients that help with lowering cholesterol. If your D is too low, we'll give you D with K2, etc. So I can put anything within the vitamin packs and morning and evening pack, and you're set. And then after a month of being on that, we recheck to make sure your vitamins are perfect. So within the understanding of low carb and the exercise, the green Mediterranean concept, all of that, correcting your vitamins, minerals, and hormones, you have a great outcome. For those people who have issues with memory, focus, concentration, you can't ignore testing for heavy metals, because heavy metals can damage your brain and any of your organs. Heavy metals are correlated with cancers, with organ failure, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, the list, arrhythmias, the list goes on and on. So to be really complete, yes, you want to fine-tune that diet, but make it specific to you and your needs. Yes, you want to look at other things that may be interfering with normal health. So we have to take all this into consideration if we expect to get some sort of good outcome.
Got a couple comments here. Just want to address. Someone said drinking green tea recently after my meals has been a complete game changer.
Good.
Great with digestion. And then we have is that sugar high and crash really affecting mood, or is it just energy levels?
Absolutely, positively. And it's funny because over doing this for so many years, I've been a physician for 39 years now, which is, mind-boggling to me. But in talking to people about this for years and years and years, it's the same sort of presentation. And people are tired all day. What do you have for breakfast? Oh, I have a bagel, or I have cereal, or I have this or that, or a sandwich or pizza and pasta and whatever, for dinner. But they're on this seesaw of high sugar, low sugar, high sugar, low sugar. They have high triglycerides, cholesterol, they've gained weight, indigestion, bloating, all sorts of very common things. And as soon as we change that and we cut the carbs down, you're not as hungry because you don't have the low blood sugar after eating the high carb, because you're not eating the high carb. People tend to lose weight. They burn cholesterol, triglycerides, because when the carbs are not in the way, your body can go burn the fat as a primary fuel. You have more energy to do some exercise, even started with some walking around the block, indoor, outdoor bike, etc. And your body just starts to do better and better and better. And I joke around with my patients because I say the same paragraphs over and over again so that they're easy to understand with this process. And everybody does better with low carbs, good proteins, good fats and oils, all great, healthy organic vegetables. Everyone does better. We have to get rid of the junk food, the processed food. Of course, some people have been saying that for many years, but when you do it, you actually see terrific outcome, terrific results. And all the people who feel tired and achy when they're not having the carbs, their sugar's not plummeting, they don't feel tired and achy anymore, or anxious, or irritable, or even panicky. So we've seen that over and over and over again.
Got someone complaining about most of the healthy things, like smoothies that are healthy. They all have artificial sweeteners they can't get away from.
Well, there's the term healthy is kind of, as I mentioned before, a relative term. For my patients, I tell them, and I give them a handout on all the things they could substitute so they could have a variety of good, healthy things in their diet. If people like smoothies, you can go get cashew milk yogurt by Forager Project. There's 1 gram of carb in there, all natural. You can take berries, not frozen berries, because berries that are frozen have a lot of sugar added to them when they freeze them. Just berries you can buy in the market, organic berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. Put some of them into the yogurt, whip it up or blend it. You could also take an organic protein powder. I use Orgain, Orgain, and I get it from BJ's because it's a lot less expensive than going to a bigger, fancy, more expensive item store. You get a bigger canister and it's less of a price than a smaller canister and a bigger price at common stores. And there's your smoothie. It tastes great. It's got great protein in it, vitamins, nutrients, good fats. And what would be better than to start the day with something like that? And you think it's got a lot of sugar in it, but it doesn't. It's got nothing. It's got a gram of carb. So it's healthy and good for you all the way around. That's what we'd rather do.
Got another. Hey, Doc, my protein powders list sucralose or acesulfame potassium. Are these daily for daily use? Are these safe for daily use?
It depends. Some people will react and have problems with those things, just like they could have problems with Splenda, the aspartame, NutraSweet, etc. So we'd rather have it where it's all, totally natural and without those things. And I think if you think for a moment, you could actually make some of your own foods. Like I say with this smoothie, it's perfect for you. And some people like to add other things into it, greens. You could. Just don't put bananas and, big sugar fruits in there because your sugar intake is going to be super high. I have patients that make their own smoothie in the morning. I say, what do you have for breakfast? Oh, I have a smoothie. I say, okay, so what's in the smoothie? Just saying you have a smoothie doesn't tell me anything. Well, I make this and that, and I put in a banana or a half a banana. I put in this and that, and I'm like, wow, that's like 130 grams of carbohydrate sugar. That's way, way too high. Well, I feel good. Well, yeah, anybody would, but you're going to crash, and you're stressing your pancreas by making it release so much insulin every time you have, the high carb smoothie or high carb meals. So I'd rather keep the carbs very, very, very tight, down as low as possible. Then you won't crave them. And your body won't end up with something called glycation, which is damage to your blood vessels, nerves, cells, proteins, etc., fats from all that extra sugar.
What's the deal with monk fruit, Doc?
Monk fruit is a substitute and might taste sweet, but it's got no sugar effect. So you can use monk fruit. You could use agave. Those are appropriate. But again, I don't want people to have that constant sugary craving thing. So if you're using monk fruit, it's better than having the regular sugars. And I just don't want people to keep maintaining that desire for the sugary, taste, because then sooner or later you're going to go back to the other stuff.
All right, we're good there.
Okay, so here's the whole oatmeal lowering cholesterol thing. So for years, the traditional realm has said that oatmeal and the fiber in it can lower cholesterol. For many years, I've been saying the grains have a lot of carbohydrate in them and a lot of sugar, and they sit in your gut and release the sugar into your body all day long. And for years, I've seen people that have tried all sorts of diets and have not lost the weight, and their triglycerides still very high because they're eating the oatmeal or other grains, and cholesterol tends to be higher. So if you take the grains away and the carbs drop dramatically, you're burning that triglyceride right away. Within days, your triglycerides are normal. And we've tested people to prove this. And then your cholesterol starts to drop down. And when people get to the weight or the cholesterol numbers they want, we'll say, okay, let's bring some of these things back in. You're dying for this or that food or oatmeal. Okay, have the oatmeal. Let's see what happens. And for some of them, they'll have the oatmeal for breakfast. They'll come into the office and we'll check their sugar within an hour or two after having the oatmeal, and it's super high. So it proves to them that this is not a great idea. Or we have people that are diabetic that are nice and tight on their diet, and their sugar comes down nicely. They're wearing that glucometer for 2 weeks, and we tell them, okay, have the oatmeal or have, the fruit, and their sugar spikes up. So we can see what that sugar does. So are you at more risk by having the oatmeal and keeping your triglycerides and cholesterol and potentially LDL high? So that's why I don't agree with that mechanism. And also part of the study says other sources of soluble fiber are fruits, apples, prunes, pears, and bananas. Sugar, 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 sugar. Bananas and some of these things are 30 grams of sugar or carb. They just don't want to acknowledge the fact that if you're taking those foods into your diet, you're getting a little fiber, but you're getting a ton of sugar. So why do that and spike your triglycerides and make it hard to burn the cholesterol? So cholesterol and fat burning, low carb diet, 30 grams or below per day. If you like intermittent fasting, that's fine, as long as you get your vitamin levels in the perfect range. Exercise, you've got to walk a half hour to 45 minutes every day. If you could do 45 minutes worth of elliptical, bicycle, indoor, outdoor, go to the gym, yoga, Pilates, anything you want to do it between 30 to 45 minutes. You're activating your body, flooding vitamins, minerals, and hormones to all your cells to make them work better. You're getting your muscles excited and you're burning sugar and fat from that activity. So that's critically important. It's got so many benefits. It goes beyond, most things that people would think. So it's not one food, one this, it's just a combination. Low carb exercise, get your hormone levels tested. Thyroid, DHEA, IGF-1, very important. Doctors will completely ignore that because they don't want to look at the literature on it. Testosterone for men and women, all of them. And if we need to correct them, great. That is going to enhance fat, sugar, cholesterol burning. It's just a fact. Again, low-carb diet, exercise, test and correct your hormones, test and correct your vitamins. There are vitamins that help to lower cholesterol. So I'd rather do it in the natural way and get multiple benefits because you're doing this whole plan or program rather than just taking a cholesterol pill or having oatmeal and some of those fruits in your diet. You're not going to get anywhere with that. And every patient we've done this with, and we may need to change or adjust, does extremely well. Always works.
Got a YouTuber asking in the chat, hey, doctor, I love the show. Is there anyone that you know of that does stem cell therapy on the West Coast? I live in Oregon. My wife has Parkinson's. She would like to have stem cell therapy.
Okay, so I don't know anybody out in Oregon, so I'll have to try and find, and with the next show or two, we'll try and see if I can get you a name of somebody out there. I'd have to find somebody that also does the nasal approach, which most doctors don't do. There are doctors in LA, but they're doing intravenous, but not doing the nasal, which is the most important for the brain-related issues, whether it's Parkinson's, MS, Alzheimer's, stroke, macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy. And that's why we have patients coming kind of from all over the place. They'll set up at a little hotel right near the office, and we can set them up. They'll come in for a couple of days, do it, and then head back out. But most of them do not do the nasal droplet where we take the stem liquid and with 2 syringes, one at a time, with your head tilted back towards, laying flat with your chin towards the ceiling, we drip the stem cell liquid into your nose so it goes back into your nasal membrane, gets into your bloodstream, into your brain, and that's what creates the result. You can see the videos on the website for that. But I'll try to find somebody, but give us a couple of days. Let's see if we can find.
We got you. Listen in. We'll be back Friday and Saturday. So We'll answer.
That's right. Big Saturday, front page of Rumble.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to maybe I'll get a jazzy dress, maybe a tie or a bow tie.
Oh.
No, I can't wear a bow tie. Might do with a tuxedo, but might be a little bit much.
Speaking of bow tie, that one guy, I forget his name. It's always the reporter on the MLB network.
Oh, the Yankees guy.
He's not even Ken Rosenthal.
Is that him? Yeah.
He's got the
short guy, bow tie.
Yes.
He's funny.
I only like him when we're winning.
Yeah.
Right now I don't like him so much.
It's funny, too, because I don't know how tall he is, but you see these ball players like Judge that are that tall, and the guy is really relatively short. It's just a big disparity.
Yeah.
That's like I remember when we used to play the Astros, and Altuve and Judge were sitting there talking to each other. It's like a little kid and a giant man. So it's just a big difference.
Yeah.
We could talk about the Yankees for a moment as to how they let us down. I mean, as to how they, didn't win
Man.
the past two games. You got to believe there's always a way, but will they find that way?
I try to take in my inner what's his name? He passed away. It ain't over till it's over. Help me out.
Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
It ain't over, Doc.
Yep.
But also,
So we saw something that was really funny right before we started the program. Frank had it up on the computer. It was David Ortiz, who's really a very funny person. And I love the fact that he jokes around with Jeter and A-Rod, and I guess he was with a group of people. I don't know what show it was on.
I think it was Fox.
On Fox. He said, the only way the Yankees are going to come back and win is if you, Jeter, and you, A-Rod, and Babe Ruth, and Mickey Mantle, and Pettit, and all the best players of the Yankees in the past, almost 100 years, came back to play. I was like, well, that's probably kind of true, but not exactly what we want to hear. But, they joke around with each other all the time. It's a lot of fun. There was also a funny sketch where I think Ortiz was sitting there and he put on a Yankee cap in a group of other people, and they all bugged out because he's just the big Boston guy, But great ball player.
Great ball player. Listen, I try not to be a hater, but, when it's a Canadian team, this is America, all right?
Yep.
Now you can't talk crap anymore because they're crushing us.
I don't know, man. They're just a great team, and they're clutch. The teams that deserve to win, whether it's the wild card, the playoffs, or the World Series, are the clutch teams. If you can't get men in on base with loaded bases or somebody on second or whatever, it's like you don't deserve to win.
Someone in the chat is talking about the no Wi-Fi on the flights. Have you heard this, Doc?
What's that?
So it came out that the Yankees do not pay for the Wi-Fi for the players on their flights.
Yeah.
And I think they're one of two teams that don't pay for the players, right?
Wow.
So it ends up being, I think, $40,000 for the whole team throughout the whole year with all the flights.
Yeah.
As a whole team, if you add it up. But they basically came out. People were like, why aren't you paying for your players? Their response was, I think we pay them enough. I think they do.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, what is it for a flight? I get the Wi-Fi thing. It's like $9.
$9, yeah.
I mean, as if that would help the team.
I know.
That would make them hit. So we could take a few minutes because we have time to talk about this. The one thing that makes me furious is that 80% of the time the first pitch is a strike, a fastball down the middle. I think the statistics are pretty strong on that. Why watch that first pitch go right down the pipe, and now you're behind on the count?
So many.
And now you foul the ball off, and now it's 0-2. Am I the only person thinking about this?
Well, I think, you know what, Doc? I noticed a shift because a couple seasons ago when they completely just, didn't even make it into the playoffs, they were swinging at everything, and I think they were like, okay, we're going to sit back, we're going to slow down, and they've kept that for the last 2 years. Now you look, you're like, guys, you're missing it right down the middle every time,
Yeah,
Judge.
there's no sitting back and slowing down and whatever. It's just you have to guard that plate. And if that first pitch is in there most of the time, swing at the first pitch. Think of where it's going to be and swing at it, number one. Number two, any good batter that's down on the count, 1-2, 0-2, whatever, They're going to pitch you down low on the outside. You think it's going to be over the plate. It won't be, and you're going to swing and miss it. They did it to Judge a billion times. They do it to every right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher, throws it off the edge. You can't fall for that crap. Also, it happened the other night a couple of times where I forget the count was 2-2 or whatever it was, and they watched a perfect strike go right across the plate. And they were called out on strikes. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You know, in Little League, you know to guard the plate, choke up, whatever. Don't swing for the home run, swing for a single, anything.
Yeah.
How do they not know this?
Ben Rice looked like he was playing golf the past few days.
Well,
He's just
every
swinging at the
batter
ball.
has this perfect zone they want to swing in. And you can swing in that zone all day long. If the ball's nowhere near it, you're just not going to hit it. You've got to adjust that to be able to make contact with the ball. Watch the ball hit the bat. So there was a TV program with A-Rod, Frank Thomas, I think, and Pete Rose. And there was a mock home plate all set up with the batter's boxes. And Pete Rose is like giving his little clinic, his little tutorial. And he was brilliant. And of course, one of the greatest, hitters, singles, doubles, whatever, in all time. And he would say, I would never stay in the same place in the box at the same time. I would never stay in one place. And they were saying, what do you mean? He says, if I know the pitcher was dropping, the curve towards the front of the plate, and if I was standing in the back of the plate, I could hit it, I'd move up the last minute. I would watch to see what the pitcher was going to do. I would think of what they were going to do. I'd move up. I'd move back. I'd move close. I'd move further away. He said, I kept changing my position in that box. I'm like, that's the most brilliant thing I've ever heard. I would change my position in that box to be able to have the edge, and that's why he had so many hits. I would choke up. I would do this. I would do that. I was like, wow. Why doesn't every player watch that video? We should probably try to send that to the Yankees. Because, who's out-hit Pete Rose? I know he has thousands of hits. I don't even know the number, but I know he's one of the top, hitters. And
the chat saying put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they should. Let me tell you something.
Especially with Ohtani out there.
If they think that people aren't gambling, that the players and everybody else in the administrations are not gambling and not doing things they shouldn't do.
Ohtani got caught, and they were just like, this guy's too good for the game.
Right.
Get out of here.
Right. Well, of course, people get a pass.
Every commercial with Reebok, he's swinging his bat, dancing. I'm like, get this guy out of here. He shouldn't even be in the league. But
he's too good. They want him to go to the games. They want him to pitch like crazy. They want him to hit like crazy. It's just...
As the chat's saying,
Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, as the chat's saying, it doesn't matter because the Dodgers are going to win anyway.
Yeah.
Listen.
I just want to see some really close nail-biter games. I don't want to watch a game where, a team gets blown out, whatever team makes it there. I just want to watch a really close series. But hopefully we'll have that. With who? I don't know.
Yeah. It's been rough. It's been rough, Doc.
I tell you, we got no respect. I tell you.
Our attitudes were much different last week.
Yeah, we were flying high.
Yeah, and someone said in the chat, didn't Pete Rose bet against his team? I believe he bet for his team. Like he was betting for his team to win. So it wasn't really like he was like, oh, look at this horrible guy. He's trying to trick his team to lose.
Correct.
He was betting on them to win.
Correct. I don't know what happened with every bet that he ever made or what he was doing, but, Charlie Hustle, you can't find a guy that worked harder to get the extra base, to do all that. I wasn't too happy when he beat up Bud Harrelson back in the day because Bud Harrelson was the Mets shortstop. He was a skinny guy. He was like a twig. Good shortstop. And then I think Pete Rose just barreled in, knocked him over, and Pete Rose was like a freight train, so they had this little scuffle, but he was a hardcore player. I mean, you got to give him that. You don't ever see that. I mean, you really ever see that again. Who's that hardcore and that,
So I have a story for you, Doc. I was probably, I want to say I was 8 years old. I'm at I'm out to dinner in the city with my family at a beautiful Italian restaurant called Rosini's.
Sounds good so far. I like that.
Oh, yeah. And we're on our way out. And there he is, Pete Rose.
Wow.
Walks in. I'm with my family friends from California. They're in there. And we all got a picture with Pete Rose. I got a signed baseball. I don't know how we had a baseball with us.
Wow.
But I got a signed baseball of him. It's like this. It was
Very
like
cool.
it was like a, from the Little League game. I happened to have one in the car. And he signed it. I have it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You got to love his career, love his stats. I mean, people don't play that hard anymore.
No.
Years ago, guys were all banged up, broken toes, bad knees. Look at Mickey Mantle. Those guys played their hearts out and made no money.
Yeah. True.
Okay.
All right. Until Friday's show, we're either going to be very depressed or surprisingly happy.
I don't know. Can they win? I don't want to look at the stupid statistics because now baseball's so full of so many
Numbers.
statistics I don't understand. The OPD, the beep, blah, 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 all these different things. I'm like, all right, wait, what does it mean? It's a good hitter. He gets on base a lot. Okay. Why don't you say that?
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Now, I look at the NBA. They're like, oh, look how many assists this guy got. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's
He
just-
got
it's
assist.
too much
He helped the
data.
other guy.
It's too much data, too much information. But yeah, either we'll be happy or we won't. So I haven't seen it yet, but they always come out with something like, oh, how many times can a team come back after they lost 2 in the playoffs? Well, who knows? I don't really care to know. It just isn't going to make me any happier. But the Yankees are going to probably come back and win the next game, maybe the next 2 games.
Yeah. Listen, I'll put it this way: if we made it through 2004 with the Red Sox coming back and destroying us, we'll be. This is a
Piece
walk
of
in the
cake.
park.
Exactly.
We could handle it.
Piece of cake.
The ghost of Bambino hasn't been destroyed. Someone's got a question: which professional baseball player owned the restaurant named The Dugout? It was on Long Island.
The Dugout.
You know that better than I.
You have to look that up online. The Dugout.
I'm looking into it.
It was one of the Mets. Now, back in the day, Rusty Staub owned a restaurant, but that was in the city. I went there a couple of times. I actually met Mike Tyson at Rusty Staub's restaurant back in the day when Tyson first started.
Ed Kranepool.
Ed Kranepool, yeah.
Boom.
First baseman for the New York Mets. Great, great player. Really, really nice guy. So I used to keep my boat in Huntington at West Shore Marina, and I was in the first slip at the end of the main dock, and there were big boats there, so that's where they would put mine. And next to me was a guy named Jim who owned Kitchen Cabaret, a great, amazing market over on
I love Kitchen Cabaret.
Glen Cove Road and near the LIE. And Jim knew a lot of people, and one day I go down there, and I'm like, hey, Jim, he's got some people on the boat. And I would go on his boat, we'd hang out, have something to eat or drink, because he'd always bring food from Kitchen Cabaret, which is amazing food, by the
I
way.
didn't know you were a boat guy.
Big plug. Oh, yeah. I had 6 of them over the years. Best days when you first buy it, and next best days when you get rid of them. But I go onto his boat. I'm sitting there next to these people. This big, sort of tall guy is sitting next to me, and he was talking to someone, turned the other way. I didn't see his face. He turned around. I'm like, Ed Kranepool. So the kid in me comes out, because I was a huge fan of the '69 Mets when they won, and et cetera. And it was Ed Kranepool. So it's like, wow, this guy that I've just admired for being an amazing hitter, an amazing first baseman, was just like there hanging out. So we met. We spoke a lot. I hung out on the boat for a couple hours with those guys. We had the best time. I was hanging out with Ed Kranepool. It was pretty awesome.
It's just great when you happen to be
Very, super nice, like your neighbor next door you've known for years. But yeah, a lot of ball players try to do restaurant things, and I don't think it ever works out.
No. Yeah, you have to just have that. Some of these restaurants, it's easy if you just got a bunch of money to dump into it.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people lose money because they don't know how to run a restaurant. They dump the money into it, and they have no idea how to work it. So,
someone in the chat said I did a few home catering jobs for Kitchen Cabaret.
yeah, they're great. I love Kitchen Cabaret.
Yeah, they got a few out. I think there's one in Roslyn. There's one in. There might be 3 or 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I've gone to all the time is in Roslyn.
Yeah, that's my go.
I think it's terrific. I've gone there a million times. And then when I want to meet somebody, like if we're going to go to a Yankee game, sometimes we'll just meet at Kitchen Cabaret, and then drive from there to the game, like on a Monday night, so you have less traffic.
Yeah,
And
you're right there.
it's like a landmark place. Everybody knows where it is. Yeah, I have a good friend, Larry Davis.
They said maybe they're looking for a tax write-off. True. Talking
Oh,
about-
yeah, they're all looking for tax write-off, but they're not looking to lose all their money. A good friend of mine, Larry, who's worked with Steiner, brings all the athletes around. We've spoken
It's our
about
mutual
Strawberry.
friend.
Yeah.
Hilariously.
So, you know him too?
Larry,
your parents?
yeah. He's the one that worked with Steiner Sports, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
Small world. He looks
Yeah.
like John Travolta
I called
in a
you
weird
at the
way.
signing. I'm like, you
Yeah.
know Larry.
Yeah. So he brings all the athletes around, and one day he said, come on, we got to go to this police athletic league thing in, I don't know if it was Yonkers or the Bronx. So we get up there, I'm walking around, and he starts introducing me to all these, stars. Jim Burt, who played for the Yankees. Nick Fotiu, who was like a rough, scary hockey player. I think he played for the Rangers. I'm not sure if anybody knows where he played. Lee Mazzilli was there. He was great, really friendly. Ed Kranepool was there. The boxer that bled like crazy when he fought Ali, was it Wepner? Chuck Wepner? So many cool people in one place. So yeah, I got pictures with all of them. It's like, wow, this is really cool. People that I knew from my era and my time, but really, really nice, really friendly. Then of course I've met Doc Gooden and Strawberry through Larry, and he'll just call me and say, hey, meet me over here. I'm like, all right, and I just go. I don't ask. Last time we did it a couple months ago, it was some athletic facility out on the island somewhere. I'm not sure where it was, but near the parkways. And I walk in, I see him, he brings you right into the room, and there's Lawrence Taylor. I was like, whoa. Lawrence Taylor, I met him years ago and he was still playing. He was at a restaurant somewhere, and he was just tall and just viciously strong. Now he's heavier, but he's still strong. He's muscular. He's probably 30, 40 pounds heavier than when he played, but great personality, very nice, a lot of fun. Got pictures with him, with my nephew. I'm like, wow, Lawrence Taylor, probably the best defensive player, almost of all time. Like, how many people are in that same category? And there's probably a handful of great defensive players, but he was one of the best. But very cool to see these people.
Crazy. I had the Larry hooked it up where I turned 21 years old. My mom sends me a video, and it's a video of Darryl Strawberry saying, hey, Frank, I heard you just turned 21. You be responsible. You do this. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah,
because if there's someone to tell you, be responsible.
That's so
me.
cool. I like it when they have great personalities, and so many of them do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, that are famous are just nasty. I don't like that. It makes me lose all,
So they say
respect.
never meet your heroes.
Yeah, I mean, luckily the ones I've met are really cool. So the other day yesterday I'm out in Montauk, and before I left town, because I went in, dropped the stuff at the hotel, and I've got to put a little comment in for this hotel. It's my favorite. There are two spots. It's called Soleil, S-O-L-E, East. Now, don't everybody rush there, so I can't get a room now. Soleil East. One is right on the road that goes right by the dunes in the middle of town, Soleil East Beach. Beautiful little place. Rooms are beautiful, clean, gorgeous, perfect. The other one is on Second House Road, where as soon as you start to come into the town of Montauk, you make that first left, you go maybe a mile, and it's a beautiful building, but the area is all sort of enclosed by massive trees, and you have this beautiful walkway inside. They have a restaurant, they have a pool. It's like a very cool Mediterranean sort of European-like feel, and I imagine that's what they're going for, but it's a great place. They're really nice. And I always call them first as soon as I know I'm going to meet my friends out there to go fishing. So I drop everything there, and I've gone there 100 times, recommended a million times over. And their prices are great, too. I go to the little plaza area, and upstairs there's this Montauk lobster roll restaurant, which I've gone to.
The lobster roll.
Yeah,
You
1,000
drive past
times.
it. Yeah.
Not the one that's on the road going to Montauk.
okay.
That's the big outdoor lobster roll place. And then there's the clam bar on the left, which used to be Cyril's.
Yeah.
But in the town of Montauk, when all the little buildings and Anthony's, pancake place is there, and you have all the little shops to buy tons of Montauk shirts and hats and thingamajigs. There's a plaza there, and when you walk upstairs, there's this in the corner on the second floor, the Montauk lobster roll. I'm going to have the name.
There's a donut place below it.
Correct. So I go and sit up there, and it was a little too early. It was before 12, so like 12 o'clock, the waitress comes out, we're chatting, and then this whole family comes over. I'm like, oh, what a nice little family. A man, his wife, maybe the wife's sister because they looked alike, and a couple of kids. And so I'm sitting upstairs by the railing, and they go over, and they go to take the table next to me. And I look at the guy, and I'm like, oh, this guy looks really familiar. He's wearing a Yankee hat. So I went from the table that I was at to the one to the left of me to give them the table, and they had, more table room. I said, do you need another? And blah, blah, blah. I started talking a little bit. He says, you come here a lot, this restaurant? I said, yeah, I come out here all the time. I go fishing off the beach, and trust me, the lobster roll is spectacular, blah, 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 blah. Talking very nice, a little bit of an accent. And I'm like, holy crap, that's Ed Sheeran, a famous singer. I'm like, oh, my God.
Doc.
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Yesterday. Was yesterday? What's today? Today's Monday? Yesterday. Saturday? No, yesterday, Sunday.
Why the hell didn't I go with you?
Yeah, I told you got to come out. But I have this uncanny way, and of course I have nothing to do with it. I can see people that are famous. When I used to have my office on 53rd Street in the city, I'd walk outside for lunch, walk around a little bit. I'm like, oh, there's this person. Oh, there's Lisa Marie Presley. Oh, there's Daryl Hannah. Oh, I would just see people for some reason visually, even if they're wearing a hat or glasses or disguise, I can see them. And when I go to dinner in the city, I remember going to a restaurant called Beach on 55th Street. I walk in, I look in the corner, just casually look in the corner. I'm like, oh, wow, Anthony Hopkins. And the girl I was with is saying, how? I said, go to the bathroom, walk by, and it's Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins. Farrah Fawcett was there. I've met so many people, hi, how are you? Gene Hackman was there, and he was a very big guy, big barrel-chested, tall guy. But you see these people, and most people don't recognize them, but for some reason I recognize them. It takes me a minute sometimes.
You are hilarious.
But Ed Sheeran was so, so nice. Extremely nice. We chatted a little bit. Beautiful family. And here I am saying, look, I'm not going to bother him for a picture, but, he wants to have a nice little lunch with his family, and he did. Very, very nice. He just said goodbye.
Unreal.
It was cool.
Ay. You missed that conversation, Doc. We talked last night. No Ed Sheeran. It's because the Yankees were getting their asses kicked. We got some comments. I sneak into Heather Hills at 2 a.m. I love Montauk.
Heather Hills, yeah, it's
Camp
great.
Hero.
Yeah.
Have you ever snooped around Camp Hero, Doc?
I've snooped around the entire area because of my friend Mike, because Mike knows where the fish are. So whether we go there, we next week we're probably going to go to Napeague, Neppeaug. I don't know how to spell it, but Napeague. It's right on that long road that goes towards Montauk on the right-hand side. And apparently the striped bass are going crazy over there, the past couple of weeks. So we'll go there. We've gone to the north side. We've gone all around Shagwan, right behind the lighthouse, fished off the boulders behind the lighthouse, everywhere. So we go to Oyster Pond because there are tons of blue claw crab in there. Now there's scungeel in there.
Oh.
Yeah, seriously.
What?
Yeah, so not to completely get off any medical tangent, but
I
can talk about everything. There's a pond called Oyster Pond. It's massive. It's like the size of, 10 city blocks. And it's between the lighthouse and the airport. And when the water breaches in from the ocean, it brings all the fish, ocean water, blah, 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 invigorates that whole pond. It's too big to call a pond, but it's massive. It's probably bigger than a lake, most lakes, and depending upon the current and the wind and whatever, it used to be where you could walk out 100 yards in knee-deep water and see all the little bait fish going crazy. And, in the afternoon you could see crabs and get your blue claw crabs and this and that, snappers, all sorts of things in there. Eels. We would throw in some chicken on a ring and throw it into the trap and throw it down to the deepest part, and you'd catch, crab, and you'd catch eel and whatever. And the other day I noticed there's a ton of these scungeel, these snails, like all over the place. I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be good.
Oh yeah.
Give it a couple of months. I didn't know the blue claw crab grow from April to January. So you can catch them anytime between April and January.
You need them pants, though.
Which makes us happy.
Someone just said, a lot of celebrities go to Montauk Samoan houses. Paul McCartney, Alan Alda. Did you happen to see, what's his name, Rocky? Sylvester Stallone. I just read something where he wants his children, his daughters, like away from L.A. and that whole scene.
Smart.
So he bought them I guess you can call it a compound, this insane mansion on the water in Montauk. I think he paid, this is my wife telling me, $25 million cash.
Yeah, that's not unusual. I had a good friend who owned a lot of big businesses, and he built a gorgeous house out there before you get to the lake, and overview was on the water up on a hill, and I think he sold that for $10 or $12 million. Some of these houses are spectacular. But yeah, it's a great place to go because it's not crowded. Nobody knows about it. It's not overrun with people like the Hamptons are. It's just cool and beachy and sedate. It's amazing. Yeah. A lot of good restaurants. I've been going down since I was a little kid, so I love it,
Oyster Pond is where the fish get trapped. It was created from a hurricane, someone else said. And
there are more crabs in there you'd ever see in your whole life. One day we went out there, and we drove down from Shagwan, which is that big bump out, which behind the airport, you get on the beach past the airport on East Lake Drive. There's a little shack. You get your sticker. We drove down to the pond, and it was like 5 in the afternoon. It was in the fall, so the sun's going down, and we had headlights on. And my friend Mike and I, just like my dad, rest of my dad's soul, we were crazy about blue claw crabs. We just love them. You put them in tomato sauce. So we go to the pond, and again, it's knee-deep water, and we looked in with the headlights. I think the crabs think that it's the moon or something, and there was hundreds and hundreds. It was like a total infestation of crabs, so we look at each other like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? So we started scooping up the crabs, and Mike held the light, and I was the first one with the net, and I was running this way and running that way, 4 crabs here, 5 crabs there. It was exhausting because you're sloshing around in the water, but ended up getting a lot of crabs, and we ate really well. And I had crabs I had to give out to my friends and my other friend who owns a restaurant. So, yeah, we had so many of them. But it's good. And now the scungeel will be there.
Oh, yeah. Just one other comment on it. Guess how much they charge for a lobster roll at Robert Moses concession stand? $65.
Wow.
Uncle
Really?
Giuseppe's charge is $15. That's crazy, especially
$65?
And especially at the concession stand in Robert Moses. It's not like people are going there for some.
Isn't that like a beachy
fancy
concession stand?
Yeah, you walk in with no shoes on. You're full with sand.
I've never been there, but that's the worst ripoff I've ever
That's
seen.
heinous.
Even in the town where I had it at the lobster roll, it wasn't that expensive. It's like $20-some odd. And then the lobster roll on the road, the main road in Amagansett, that place is busy as a beehive. I mean, you can't drive by there without seeing 500 cars during season.
Yeah.
But, wow. See, that's a bad thing. When you charge too much, then people say, they charge too much. And all of a sudden, people don't want to go there.
Yeah, and there's just a bunch of snobby people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lobster does not raise your cholesterol, by the way.
See, we're back to health.
In case anybody wanted to know. I had a patient once who was a historian and an ecologist, and he wrote books, and he was telling me in one amazing conversation that, back in the day, all the way back in the 1600s and, maybe earlier, when Long Island became colonized and people were moving out and about and, all the beaches after a storm would have tons of lobster and clam and scallop and all sorts of stuff come out on the beach. And people that lived in and around there, the Native Americans, would go out there during the storm and just grab all of this food to eat. I mean, how amazing would that be if you had your own little assortment of every fish you could possibly want?
Wow.
But then I think the Native Americans used lobster as a fertilizer for corn. Would make the corn taste good, but...
Interesting.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they just eat the lobster?
Yeah,
well,
you miss...
I always say the first person to ever see a crab and a lobster and decide they want to eat it. Must have been a very hungry Italian, because Italians will kind of,
Same with octopus.
eat anything. Yeah. Or would you look at that and say, wow, that looks like I should eat that?
Someone said no carbs or gluten in lobster.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out who was the first person to eat lobster, crab, octopus. Probably in the Mediterranean somewhere.
That's how you know. Well, Japan. They had was they were just on a bunch of islands. They had to test everything for us.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Some of that stuff.
Going back 1,000 years.
I like this guy.
So we spoke a little bit about the vitamin pack that we put together specifically for you. We're doing a ton of this, even for patients that can't get to the office. We do a telehealth visit. We send your prescription, get your blood done. We review the blood via telehealth. And based upon that, we put together your vitamin plan. A pack in the morning, pack in the evening. The manufacturer can put 100 different things together, but we put things together based upon your blood test. So it's appropriate for what your body needs. So it's tailored to your body. That's how we do the vitamin pack. For those people who have Medicare and who have diabetes, hypertension, arrhythmia, etc., oxygen issues with their lungs, remote patient monitoring is a terrific way to monitor yourself at home and have the info data sent to the doctor's office popped in your chart, so we can track your blood pressure every time you take it. We can track your sugars. We can track your oxygen, your heart rhythm. And now this is expanding, and there are more techniques and technologies to use to evaluate your function. Switzerland's come up with a company, Switzerland, come up with a pair of glasses where the sidebar of the glasses reads your brain speed, so we can see and compare to a million other people with an AI component as to whether or not you're on the way to develop some dementia or changes in your brain function. So this is great. It's preventive medicine. And if you have issues, we can deal with it right away and, get your other doctors involved so you don't have to end up going to an ER visit that's going to cost the insurance company a crazy amount of money. That's, I think, why they're trying to promote this, because it's great. It's preventive medicine. So as well, our blood test has always been about a 25 page blood test. When you first come in, we take your history, look at all your concerns, all the things that you describe to us that you have problems with, prior blood work. So we're looking at vitamins, minerals, hormones, absorption, digestion, immune response, cardiac risk, even the secondary cardiac risk factors, the Lp(a), apolipoproteins, homocysteine, etc., heavy metals through blood and urine. So our program looks at about 200 things. And you're seeing some of these companies online tout, it's a 100-component blood test. That's not much for us. We've done the 200 thing for a very long time. So the obvious key is to learn as much as you can about yourself, fine-tune things now, get your vitamins, minerals, hormones in shape, DHEA, testosterone, IGF-1. We talk a lot about NAD. NAD, nicotine adenine dinucleotide, is great for your brain function, memory, focus, helps to repair your cells, repair DNA. We have a great handout on that. So there's a lot to learn about your body. We want you to take charge and do all the best things you can with your foods, your nutrient, your exercise to make your body super healthy and strong going forward. Resist the damage that occurs when you don't take care of yourself and your body ages too fast. So all of these things are quintessential to maintaining and maximizing your health. And that's typically what I do. Any other questions or comments?
Not yet.
From the peanut gallery.
Waiting for them to come in.
I can't say peanut gallery because too many people are allergic to peanut.
Listen, my elementary experience was dwindled. I couldn't eat my Nutter Butters anymore because they dropped this rule: no peanut butter.
Yeah.
My favorite cookie back in the day.
Yeah, when food was a lot more simple and more healthy, and people had less allergies. So much allergy is occurring now either because of the food itself or the chemicals in the food or the GMO version of that food. And I can tell you I have tons of patients that travel South America, Europe, all over the place. And whenever they travel, they can have the grains and the bread and the pasta and have no issues with it. Here, they can't have it because it's all GMO. See this all the time. People go on vacation in Europe, they lose weight because they're walking all over the place to see the sights. They're eating modest amounts of foods, and they're healthier. I have a friend that goes over to Italy a lot. Now he's there with his wife and 2 of his daughters. He has 5 daughters. Poor guy. Imagine having to pay for 5 weddings. Oh. One of them is in school, and she's there for 3 months or 4 months or something in Florence.
Oh.
And they flew out there. They're driving all over the place, hitting all the great vineyards, hitting some of the greatest places for food in Florence. And, of course, he puts all this food on the Instagram post. And I sit there like drooling at some of the food and, some of the wine because it's the best of the best. And, be a pretty good life to head over there and have that food, or even to go to school there. I should have done that when I was in high school. My uncle went there, was on sabbatical for a year, but, I was like 15 or 16. What did I really know think about going there? I just wanted to hang out with my friends and play every sport we could, and it was a mistake. I should have gone.
Yeah, we all feel that way. Someone just said Uncle Giuseppe's uses flour imported from Italy for all their homemade pastas.
It's good. I think Uncle Giuseppe's is great. I go there on Mondays and Fridays to sort of stock up on some good stuff.
Good luck if you go there on the weekend, though.
Yeah, you can't. You just can't. It's any store of any consequence, even, the supermarkets, I just won't go. Whole Foods, I won't go on the weekend.
I look at the managers in Uncle Giuseppe's on a Saturday, like before a holiday, and it looks like they just got out of, like, Vietnam. Like,
yeah.
Oh, go this way. Yeah. There's a line here.
It's like a war zone.
Yeah.
But I go on Mondays and Fridays. So, Uncle Giuseppe's has great stuff.
Yeah.
Great food that's already prepared, like the yams they have are terrific. They have the sliced zucchini a la Il Molino, where they saute it, and it's just sliced, and it's got garlic and a little bit of the Italian flaky hot pepper. Oh, my God, is it good.
You always do this.
Just sit there and just have, every couple of days, have a little bit of it. I got a gigantic container. But, yeah, it's great food. They have great stuffed cabbage. I mean, anybody who's never been there on Route 110, you have to go to Uncle Giuseppe. It's amazing. Their prices are good, but they have every possible thing you could imagine for every Italian item, and maybe 10 versions of that item by different manufacturers, but it's terrific.
And good music.
Yeah, absolutely. First time I went, I was like amazed by the place, and some guy was over by the cafe area singing, so... I'm walking along with my car. I'm getting into the music. I'm singing Femina, tu si la mala femmina. And all of a sudden I realized there were people behind me. I'm like, oops, sorry. But you can't help but get into the...
Yeah, I'm dancing down the aisles.
Into the dancing and grabbing the food, and it's fun.
They think of everything.
But if you haven't gone, you have to go. People have to go. All righty. Well,
pretty good.
We're over an hour here, so that's fun.
When goes quick when you talk about not the Yankee part, but the food part.
We better have some good Yankee talk on Friday. So they're playing tomorrow?
Ooh, Tuesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday,
tomorrow.
Thursday?
Tuesday, Wednesday, hopefully Wednesday. If they lose tomorrow, they're done.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, first of 3.
Yikes, because we were talking about going to Wednesday's game.
Yeah.
Okay. I love getting there early, going to the shop, buy some cool Yankee outfits. Got me a cool Yankee shirt last time you were there. Thank you so much.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
We'll see.
So, friends, give us a call at the office, 516-794-0404. Website, drcalapai.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your calls and your messages. And we'd love to help you out. And listen on Friday here, 12:30. And then Saturday, the big show, the really big show.
Oh, yeah.
2:30 to 3:30, I'll be on the front page of Rumble. I have to dress up for that, I think.
Yeah.
To do something.
Bring that suit back out.
Yeah.
Maybe the Florida vibe.
Pocket Square. Remember, we should call that guy, the guy that was in Florida.
If you know, you know.
Yeah,
this.
So for people who hadn't seen it, one of the videos I'm wearing a really nice, like a blue...
Checker.
Not a soft, but like a nice blue sport jacket.
Yeah.
And a white shirt. And a guy called in and was asking questions. He goes, hey, Doc, he goes, I like your sport jacket. I said, oh, thanks. He goes, yeah, I see that when I go to these places where these older guys go out and I don't know, he was talking about, to meet and greet. I'm like, okay.
Getting into his sexual proclivities.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all
He
right,
was-
pal.
yeah, I was like, okay. Then he was saying, well, you think God would be mad at me because I've done this or that? I'm like, I have no idea what God thinks.
Wrong hotline.
But yeah, I just said, hopefully for you, you'll be doing okay. But, think about what you're doing and try to do the right thing. You can see that video. It's months ago,
I
but
may have to get that clip.
yeah, it's a light blue sport jacket. I like your jacket. It's like the ones I see when these men go out. I was like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have carried the conversation. At any rate, thank you again. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. See you Friday and Saturday.